Hello and welcome to Mastermind. Our mission is to build $1 million businesses so that we can have financial freedom, time for our families, and make an impact in our communities. Let's kick it off with some big wins. Sonia, lead the way, please.
I've had things have a recouping. I've had a few repeat customers call me back. So yay. That's my win for this past time. And things are starting to quotes are starting to come back in and estimates are starting to get rolling and the opposite. I'm estimating quotes going out, business coming in. So nice.
Yes. Awesome sauce. Way to be. Very good. Thank you. Daryl.
Yes, I have a few. I mentioned to Steve earlier this week, I let go of one of my very long-time employees. He's profitable, but he wasn't great. He was good most of the time. Had a couple of employees actually approach me privately and tell me, man, he's toxic, and I think it's probably time you to let him go. And so I did. And so I have a thing with my team. If somebody's not working out on the team, if we have a consensus where everybody else feels the same way, then that person goes, and that's what we did. And I will tell you, when I let that guy go, my other two team members that came to me did a job by themselves. They finished up a job we started last year. I thought it was going to take three of them 5 days to do. The two of those guys got it done in 3 days.
Wow.
And I'm getting a $16,000 check today from that I thought they were going to be on forever. So that's pretty awesome. Hired one guy 2 weeks ago, Lewis. He's a Mexican. I love him. I love the guy. We always make fun of each other. I'm too white and don't know enough of his language. I hired one tomorrow, or hired one already. She starts tomorrow. I got her through Express Employment. If you guys remember a few masterminds ago, I talked about possibly going through there. So I'm doing that, and I put the numbers together, and I think it's going to be really, really good. So I'm excited.
Awesome. That's fantastic, Daryl. Way to protect the culture
Yeah.
and lead. It's very important. And sometimes it's hard to let some of those producers go
Yeah.
because they produce, but really the issues that they bring to culture, to the team are just so traumatic that
Yep.
I don't know that we've ever let somebody go and said, ah, that was too soon. I should have waited to fire
Never too soon.
him. Yeah.
No.
So great job. Good leadership. Thank you. Isaac, big wins.
Yeah, I would say a very difficult project developed in me a deeper trust in God. And I'm happy to say we're finally finished with it after 3 weeks and an entire week of thinking, I don't know if we'll ever be out of this house. And just wanted to thank you guys so much for your encouragement. That Sunday, I felt just a huge shift in my level of hope and just plugged through the rest of that week. And I've been going to the gym a lot.
Yeah, that's
People
awesome.
doing- Yeah.
So, way to go, Isaac. Remember to post those in the chat to encourage the others to keep going too, please. So I don't want to be the only one posting. It's weird. All right. But help me encourage the others. I was talking to Jesus about this yesterday. Share, you got to share them, please.
Okay.
And Sonia
Sounds
has
good.
been. And so thank you guys for that. So Isaac, yeah, great job. And unfortunately, this isn't going to be the only one. These things come and it feels miserable for a short time. But just remember this time and remember that you got through it and maybe even journal about it so that you can reflect back on it the next time this happens. And because the life of an entrepreneur is a roller coaster and
Yeah,
or peaks and valleys. And so
that's what I was
they're
just
going
gonna
to,
say.
yeah, it's going to come
Yeah,
again, but it's a character building opportunity. You learned and you got stronger and you got tougher and you leveled up your EQ as well.
absolutely. Yeah, when he in that talk said, find the gift in your trial. Just wow, what a great opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. And that's the right attitude that gets you through it. While
Yeah,
others will just give up. And so,
totally.
right on. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Isaac. Chris, you're up.
Good morning. My big win is got in touch with this guy that will be coming on now as our second crew. It's basically a team of him, his wife, and his son. So it's a close knit kind of family situation. With the subs, it's so difficult to just know, especially as we keep going, as we start going, who's going to even show up. But family situation and just very good. And so between that and then just the onboarding process, I would say is the big win. I just feel very confident about the communication that we've done up front. I feel like I was pretty comprehensive. My first sub, there was a lot of trial and error and a lot of mistakes because you're trying to figure it out as you go. Whereas this felt very clean, clear, smooth. Expectations should be pretty clear going forward. And so very optimistic about this second crew.
Awesome. Awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like you did a great job too of pre-qualifying them. It is hard to tell, but it sounds like you did a good job. So well done. Thank you for sharing. Juan, good morning.
Good morning. Big win for me this week. So I did implemented the color consult a couple of weeks ago, and I did an email blast to all my clients. So I closed 3 jobs this week. Thanks
Yes,
to that.
sir. All right.
Pretty happy
Fantastic.
about that.
Yes, way to take action and implement. Oh man. All right. Hey, Seuss. Big wins, buddy.
Yes, good morning. So my big wins, this was last week. It was organizing my 6-month stay-in interview for my guys. And then I have the send-out cards I did this week. And then I'm continuing the one-on-ones with the other business people around. That's going good.
Yeah, you just posted a community spotlight. Was it tacos, Mexican food? What was it? A restaurant, right?
Yeah, it's tacos.
Yeah, everybody loves tacos.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody. That's a winner. Good job. Your send out cards, what was the theme?
It might have been a little too late. It was Valentine's Day.
That's okay.
Valentine's is coming up
important
tomorrow,
thing is
I
yeah.
think.
Okay, that's all right. Hey, at least you remembered him.
Yeah.
He'd send him out every month, right? And he
Yeah.
a lot of times he'd guess on birthdays and they'd say, "You're 2 weeks late." He's, at least I remembered.
Yeah.
All right. Well done, Jesus. Florian, big wins.
Hey, good morning, guys. I have a couple big wins since it's been 2 weeks now. So some small projects which lead up in a big project, let's say, because just painting the room, and people call me back and said, "Hey, can you come like paint the living room and this?" So that means there's a trust there. So they see how we go into people's house. You drop clothes pretty much when I see the people there, right? So the interior pretty much you have to take care. You have to be like a nurse pretty much. So people hire you back, which is a good thing. So a couple small projects. And the one interior we did, and the exterior too, we did some for that lady. So she was upset because for the exterior door, she tried to say to me, "Oh, it was not in the quote." I say, "Yes, it's in the quote, but you didn't decide to do the exterior." So that turned in that project. So whatever it is from the exterior, I put in that invoice. And she apologized and said, "Hey, send me the link so I can send a 5 Google review." And she apologized for that, which is great. 2 small jobs came from BNI, which I'm following up every week with at least like one-to-one, once a week, no matter what. And then I have 2 jobs, another one there, cabinets, which one was big one, actually. It was like around $14,000, which we closed it like a week ago because we have some small touch-ups, and another one, which will be closing tomorrow, that is $5,700. So those are my big wins.
Yes,
little things, but it makes the payment so I can pay my guys. You know?
Yes, little things matter. There's out of the book, and which is also the moral of the story of the compound effect and the slight edge. They all add up, and before you know it, takes off.
That's correct.
All right, way to be. Keep at it. All right, Canada's most caffeinated painter, Greg Armstrong. Big wins.
Hired somebody. She's working out well. She's got her own truck, which is really nice, and she's willing to take tools around to the job sites and whatnot. So that's very handy. So it saves me a lot of time. And yeah, so she's working out well. That's my big win.
That is a big win. That is awesome. Fantastic.
So that's that's the 4th painter now. So we're up to 4.
Yes, sir. Look out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 4 to 6, and you're out of the field forever. You're there, buddy. Let's go. Right on. All right, Sonia, what is the one thing we could brainstorm for you such that would make everything else easier and or unnecessary?
I think we've gone through everything that I always go through. It's always the same when you talk about valleys. It's always that trying to keep motivated is one of those things. But I know the last time we spoke, we talked about target market a little bit more. So I think it was Juan, he was saying about the color consulting. So I've been delving into that and working on a project. But in doing so, I found that most of the ones that I like to work with are anywhere from 60 to 75. They're super lovely. They usually their husbands are lawyers or there's something like that. And so those are the ones that it just goes so smoothly. versus the computer guys. We're not.
Okay.
But,
So here's some
but-
questions, right? Hold on, real
Mhm.
quick. Let's zoom in on this. Here's some questions. Where do they associate? Where do they network?
Okay.
They have social lives and they're involved.
Where do they associate and where do they
Yeah, where do they
network?
associate? Where do they network? Where do they socialize? Where do they network?
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was trying to hit, trying to go into who do I go look for them or find their community, basically,
Yep.
right?
So it sounds like in order to have this information that you have now, you probably already have serviced some of them. You've probably already worked for some already, correct?
Yes.
Just circle back to them and say, and you can just say, hi, Joanne, this is Sonia. I want to circle back first to tell you thank you for your business. And two, I enjoyed working for you so much that I would love to work for 100 more people just like you. And she might laugh or whatever and say, so I've got a fun question for you. Where do you hang out? Who do you hang out with? Where do you network? Where do you socialize? Where are your people? And
I
just
like
have
it.
fun with it, and they'll
Okay,
understand
I
what
can
you're
do that.
saying, and just be genuine about it. But what you do is you lead with a compliment to them, which is authentic. We really enjoyed working with you. Would love to work with 100 more people just like you. Where are your people?
Yes, I love that. Okay. That's pretty much where I was needing help directing. Okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, there you go. Awesome. All right, Daryl, you're up.
Cool. Not really a big one, just a kind of a question because we try to go with the 3 Ps, our people, our profit, and our process. I have a big commercial job that I looked at yesterday. I did not do it on the spot because it's over $100,000. And it's about 40 minutes north of my target area where we work is Ponca City. This one is actually in Ark City, Kansas. So it's about 35, 40 minutes north of us. My crew actually wants to go do this job. I'm not so sure. It is my people and it'd be profitable, but the process part is not there. But I think it's mainly because I don't do a lot of commercial. And so it could be an opportunity, but I don't know if I want to dive into $130,000 commercial job right now. I mean, I've got two $65,000 paint jobs back to back that I'm doing, and I just don't know if I'm in the right season to do that. I know we could handle the job, but I don't know if I want the job.
So this is wise. I'm really glad you brought this up. One other factor we need to keep in mind is businesses, when we get jobs, it's not all about revenue. The long-term goal is we want to build referral sources, right? So step 9 in the system is staying top of mind, because once you're generating 80% referrals and repeat business, like that's easy and highest cash flow, simplest process. You're the only one bidding. Now, in order to do that, we need to create as many direct customers as we can. Now, if we're on a $100,000 job, we're not going to be doing that. A $100,000 job might be a quick big win, but in the long run, how many customers, right? How many referral sources could you have generated in that time? So say your average job is, I don't know, we'll just say 10,000, right? So that's 10 referral networks that you're not going to have. Or if your average job is 5,000, that's 20 referral networks that you're not going to have if we take the $100,000 job. Not even counting like the risk and the stress. And if we think back to the hospital job that we did, it's just also, you should never take a project that's more than 20%, and we won't go into what it is, but something to consider is you should never take a project that's more than 10 to 20% of your revenue, because the strain and the stress that it causes if something goes sideways, because if you've been in this business for more than 3 minutes, stuff goes sideways, right?
Yep.
Yeah, as if you have business, I would pass. The only reason I would consider this is if you're a startup and you had capital and you could cash flow it, which is rare for a startup, then consider it. But if you've got work and you've got plenty of direct residential, easy jobs, right? Process.
That was my thinking. I just wanted to get
Yeah.
some other input on it because my intuition was to just pass on it.
That's wise.
Yeah.
All
right.
Or refer it to a larger competitor and maybe work out a referral arrangement where they send you the single residentials and you send them the large commercials.
Yeah.
Because single residentials are not in their process. They're set up to execute large commercial.
Don't forget the big house up the hill.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm working on
That's
one of
what it
those
is.
right now.
That's what it is.
But it's in my referral network.
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
stay in the city and don't lose those clients. I
I'm
agree.
fixing to start a $65,000 paint job, but it's for a repeat client. It's in a very good neighborhood, and it will definitely land me more work.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Right on. Awesome. All right, Isaac.
Yeah. So lately, since starting to hire people and then letting my first guy go and trying to bring on another guy, and then just a couple hard projects, I feel like I've been treading water. And so all the action steps that I've been wanting to take, like getting my Monday.com in line, leaning more into my community spotlights and just all the stuff on the steps. I'm wondering, so I feel like my number one thing that I really want to focus on in order to be able to make the other things happen is trying to get a good team so I can get out of the field. Would you say that there's something else that I should focus on first? If I don't know, because I'm struggling with how to know when my guys are ready for me to be out. Because I'm fine getting out with just two guys and then really living on less, just to be able to have, I don't know, there's so many things I need to do and I'm freaking rolling walls still. And it's like, I need to get out of here.
It's good.
What would you guys say? I don't know.
So the question is, I heard a lot there.
Yeah.
What specific question do you have?
My specific question would be, yeah, we'll just dial into what are some key markers to know when your guys are ready for you to not be there anymore.
Yeah. What you do is you start withdrawing yourself an hour a day, then 2 hours a day, then half day. And also when you do this, just remember, they're going to make mistakes. It's part of learning. It's okay.
Yeah.
We forget how many mistakes we made, especially when we become proficient in something, and especially after we master something, we forget all the mistakes. No, I'm wonderful. We once were not. Okay. And I would just start withdrawing yourself. And as they make mistakes, just coach them up, encourage them, coach them up, and withdraw yourself an hour a day, 2 hours a day, and then half days. Right. And when you do too, here's a mind shift that your employees, your team needs to understand, because we're the one doing all the work is initially what happens, because they don't understand it first. So it's our responsibility to help them to understand. Say, listen, guys, we're getting going now. Who wants to stay busy year round? And their hands go up. Right? Rhetorical question, right? We all do. If I'm here painting every day, then I don't know that I can keep us going full time year round. I could probably keep me going full time year round, but I want to keep you guys going full time year round. So my job really is I should be out there networking, marketing, sales to keep all of us going full time. Does that make sense? Yeah. Once they get it, they're going to start saying, "What are you doing here, Isaac? Get out there, go to network, go find us some more jobs. Get off. What are you doing here, man?" Once they really get it, they will kindly but sincerely say, "What are you doing here? Go find us some more work." And so just make sure you have that conversation with them too, to help them to understand the shift of you not being there. But to circle back to your question, withdraw yourself an hour a day, 2 hours a day, half days. Be ready for them to make mistakes. Coach them through it. Okay. And then you'll be able to wean yourself out. The other side of this is the conversation with the customer.
Yeah.
All right. Because they're going to say they're used to, or they heard the referrals like, "Isaac, you going to be on the job?" And you can answer it a couple different ways. And one of them is not, but however, the guys that I have on here are, if you have craftsmen that are better than you get to a point where you start hiring craftsmen that are better than you. But two, you can say the guys the painters, the craftsmen that I'm going to have working on your home, they're 100% focused on your home. They're not going to be interrupted by phone calls and customers and phones dinging and binging. If I were here, I wouldn't get a lot done anyway. But my guys have been personally trained by me and will probably do a better job than I will for you too, and better experience. And I remember there were times I'd stop by the job and customers say, "What are you doing here?" "I'm sorry." I was expecting, "Hey, Steve, what are you doing here?" I just pop by to say hi. They're like, "These guys got it."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to hear that you can jump out at 2. That is very wise and very frugal of you. That is awesome. That is the fastest path to success. Sounds like you're not driving a brand new Escalade, which is smart, right? And yeah, the sooner you can get out, the faster you can double your business, hands down.
Yeah. I'm very Dave Ramsey focused, and we're like a month away for the second time being debt free. and we've whittled down our expenses to like nearly nothing. And so it's okay. I don't have a lot of overhead, but I need to get out of the field to focus on this other stuff. That's my number one.
Yes. I remember when April and I went through the season, it was chicken and rice every night, chicken and rice. Full circle. I now eat chicken and rice for health
I was
reasons.
gonna say, isn't that what you're saying?
But for then it was economical reasons to get out of the field and build his business as fast as possible. So right on,
Awesome.
Isaac.
Thank
Any other
you.
thoughts for Isaac? Absolutely.
Yeah. Isaac, I was in the same boat off and on for a while. And basically the way I operate is if there's anything that my guys can do, I'm not doing it. I don't touch a single thing. Well, I don't want to say a single thing, but I hardly ever am doing anything that my guys can do. I'm not swinging a brush. The only thing I'm doing is I might be spraying doors at my shop and I'm doing mud work, like texturing. The guy I hired 2 weeks ago, this guy, Lewis, he knows how to do drywall mud and skim, but he didn't do very well. So I was just showing him how to do it. My process took him twice as long to do these last 2 skim jobs that I could have done in less than half the time. But I let him do it because on the next job, he's going to get quicker. And
Yeah.
that's one less thing I'm doing. And I've been talking to Steve for the last 6 months. It's all I've been doing is skim coating. I was like, I want to go work at Lowe's. This is crazy. I need to hire somebody or I'm going to quit and go work at Lowe's. And so I hired somebody to do that. So
Yeah. After 5 projects, now my guy is cutting in everything. I'm not
there
cutting
you
in
go.
it.
Don't do it anymore. Let him do it.
He's doing
Yeah.
better than me. So
Yeah.
cool. Thank you.
I would say if the days that you feel like you need to be there, it sounds like what's going on in terms of having got everything worked out. But instead of using a roller, if you need to be there, there's still things you can do. You can bring a laptop with you. You can do a lot of stuff where you're still a presence there and making sure that everything's going smooth, but able to do a lot of work just right there at the job. You can also hand out a lot of like door hangers, even go door to door and stuff like that. Hey, we're in the neighborhood, and just be very intentional with that neighborhood that you're working on so that you're still on the job. Technically, the guys know you're there. If it's something important, they can have you. You're still in the area. You're just literally a call away. And then I think I'm pretty risk adverse, so I'm not afraid. Like the way I would do it, the way I've done it is, if it's less than like a $4,000 job, I'm even okay with them messing it up a little bit in terms of like timeline or whatever, like just to find out, just to see if they can do it. It's worth finding out to me. If they can't do it, they can't do it. But if they can, I'm glad I tried. And it's never going to be, the stakes are never too high, right? So those are some of my thoughts when I'm trying to get away from the roller, because they'll suck you in.
Oh yeah. Final words of encouragement too for everybody trying to get out of the field is that of clients who have built $1 million businesses and have never painted their life. So how do they do it? It wasn't an option, right? So sometimes because we start off as technicians, that's your problem. That's your biggest problem. You're like, I've got to fix it. I know how to do it. Nobody can do it as good as I can. That's your biggest challenge. If you get rid of that, in fact, I would encourage the book, I don't see it behind me now, Goals. It talks about the theory of critical constraints. And if you put the critical constraint on of, I cannot go out in the field, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. Yep. So sometimes we used to joke around and say, listen, if you don't get out of the field, I'm going to come and break one of your legs so that you can't get out in the field. And then we'll build this
I already broke mine.
Yeah. Now, obviously but that's what happened to me. I busted my knee on a roof of a bank, and that's when the light finally went off after years of being in the field. And I went, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to do this forever. And I thought my knee was gone. And I played a lot of basketball at the time. I was sad that I couldn't play basketball. And it took 6 months, but it finally healed. But it was during that 6-month season that I went, I've got to figure this business part out because I can't be out here for the rest of my life. Good deal. You're doing it, Isaac. Way to be. It's exciting. Chris, you're up.
My question's about color consultants. Where do you find them?
Mm-hmm.
How do you pay them? Is it a contract thing? It makes sense to me that it would be. In terms of, it seems as though what's inevitably going to happen is you're going to find your color consultant naturally upselling, right? Because as the creative juices start flowing, all of a sudden we're painting this or adding this, which is great. But then my question is, how much do you inform them about pricing? Do you just let them stir the imagination and then add these change orders after? Just any feedback about color consults?
This is a great question. I love this. So the question is, how do you use color consultants, decorators to double your business faster? First, how do you find them? Great question. Ideally, you want to find new up and coming, and I'll explain why in a minute. You find them at usually chamber events. Chamber networking is the best place that I found decorators and color consultants. Next, when you find them, the up and comers, you connect to them and you meet with them and you say, listen, I am looking for a color consultant and designer that I can work with to introduce to my clients and hopefully work out an arrangement with. Meaning, I want to offer your services to my clients and get your foot in the door, because it does open them up for more work. And ideally, they'll set you up with a deal. And for us, like way back in the day, it was $50, and then it was like $100. It might be 100, 150 now. But they give you a discounted price for the relationship, for setting it up. Okay. Now, over the years, these guys, guys, gals, for us, there's always ladies. They'll get busy. They'll get going. They'll get busy, and they won't be able to fulfill that relationship anymore because they've outgrown it, and that's okay. That's understandable. So you go back to the chamber or BNI, and you find another new up and comer who's eager to get out there and get after it, doing whatever it takes to get going. And this works out as a fair arrangement to them. So hear me, it's not like we're ripping them off. It's a win because it does get their foot in the door with nice clients who need their drapes and rugs and take out their furniture and whatever else the magazines and TV programs tell them they should be buying. Okay. Now, the other part of this, and this is one of my favorite parts of the designer decorator, is it's also a closing tool. And we've talked about sales processes. We have a sales system in the cafe, and some of you guys have gone through it. But one thing that I'll offer them is I'll say, listen, if you sign with me right now, I will pay for a designer to come out and to help you to select the perfect color for your home so that you won't make the wrong decision. Okay? So smiley bobblehead face, yes, for the clothes, and they love it. They absolutely love that because they asked me, like, Steve, you want me to pick out the colors? I'm like, no, you don't want me to pick out any colors. They're like, but you're a painter, you're a painting company. I said, yeah, we understand how to properly prepare and apply paint, not decorate. Haven't you done 1,000 homes? Haven't you been in 1,000 homes? Don't you have friends and family? It's the same thing when it comes to decorating, because the truth is, I don't want the liability. I don't want anything to do with the liability of picking out colors. No, it's cost me way too much money in the past trying to help somebody pick out colors. I don't like that. Whatever you picked out. Oh, you chose it. I was just guiding you, but I guess now I own it, so we get to repaint it. But no. So instead, use the decorator, color consultant as a closing tool as well. And it's a win all the way around. Now, pricing. A couple things to do is once you have your new arrangement with a color consultant is you say, okay, one is please keep them away from the deep bases. No deep bases. Okay. Let's stay in the pastels to mid colors, please. So for easy application, appreciate that. And that's really all we coached them on. Now, Paul Dibdahl, he's another mastermind group. He loves to share the story of the decorator he works with. Now he's in the greater Los Angeles area, and he's got this, or had this great big, this flamboyant decorator, right? And he was just larger than life with his personality. And he'd always ask them, he'd always say, what's Paul charging? What's Paul charging? They'd tell him, he go, oh, goodness, that's a steal. So he always had his back, and that was just really cool. And so your decorator is going to have your back too when you find a good person. It's the same thing too with hiring for character. So circle back, it's find them at the chamber or BNIs, up and comers, connect with them, invite them for coffee or lunch, tell them you want to get to know them, and then lay out the idea that you have for them, and you work something out for maybe $100 or maybe it's 150, depending on your market pop. And then you can also use it as a sales tool, and then give them, kind of coach them on some guidelines. All right, Sonia, decorator, would you have anything to add to that?
But I do, as far as when you mentioned about because I'm all in one pretty much, and that's my differentiation is that I'm able to either, so I've been able to segue in there, like I do color consultations and all of a sudden I can segue and get a project going, but definitely set up the guidelines as far as I love that little tidbit and pro tip about don't stay away from the deep bases because you can run into some little hiccups there too.
Especially with decorators. Decorators love deep bases. Tell them no.
I do too, just in small spots, not like
okay.
everywhere.
I like small. Yeah, I don't mind small spots. Yeah.
Sometimes we have a media room.
Yep. No more than a court.
Yes. No, but as far as develop that relationship and just coach them. Because I worked, that's how I started into this, was I worked for a paint company, and as I subcontracted for them, and that was, they set up the guidelines, is how much for the colors, no more than 2 colors or 3 colors. It's more than 3 colors, it's $100 more, or whatever it is that you upcharge for another color, whatever is given in there. And if you charge more for any color change other than the paste, trims, and sealing, then let them know, let them set it up for them so that they know exactly what you want. Because I ran into some of that too when I was working with them. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I forgot that step. Oh, I forgot. Just lay it out for them. And what's nice is they like let me have a guideline to say, look, these are the things to look for. This is how we want you to come in there. They also go in. I know it's hard because they had color consultations available with in-house, but they took me on a few projects to show me this is the expectation, this is what I'm looking for, and this is how the color consultation goes. But just set it up for them and let them know, and they'll be able to help, like he said, have your back for you and get that. And happy customer.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonia.
One thing I'd add is just make sure the client knows that it's like a maximum of 1 hour or however long you'd like. Maximum of 1 hour, and then anything over and above that, the interior designer will bill you directly.
True. Good.
Yeah. So that's a tip. And also tell them to stay away from Chantilly lace. You can coach them that if they delve into the deeper colors, they can just give the heads up to the customer that it's going to take more coats, it's going to take more time. You might have to, so-and-so, like Chris might have to come back and revise the estimate just to account for this. If you really want this, we can do it, but just be aware that'll be an extra charge. So just a couple little extra tidbits.
Right on. Awesome. Are you good, Chris? Is that helpful?
It's super helpful. What about in terms of just directing them in terms of, from a decorator's perspective, I'd imagine they walk into a place and, oh, well, this needs a backsplash. Oh, well, this needs new flooring. Like you said, we're basically telling them we're not doing these deep bases. Let's steer towards this direction. We're focused on paint. Is that just, we're just guiding them in terms of, we're not doing extreme home makeover or whatever here. We're doing specifically painting. Is that kind of the idea?
Yeah, that's never been an issue for me. And I think something's a backsplash or whatever, then I don't want anything to do with that. It doesn't fall into my 3 Ps as far as managing or referring. So if they've got a carpenter or tile person that they work with, then that's their rodeo. I'd say, okay, awesome. You guys have fun with that. We're going to stick with what we do, crush it, and move forward. So good questions, Chris.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Juan.
I wanted to talk basis what Isaac mentioned. I'm struggling stepping out of the field. I don't know. I get that problem.
That's it. Where's my bat? Where's my baseball bat? We're gonna go see Juan. Here we go.
I keep seeing myself with the brush, cutting, rolling, fixing walls, and also I don't know how to get that bad habit out of me. So I need ideas, and I want to be accountable to it. I just want to stay on the business side. But it's hard. It's hard for me because I got that, I don't know if it's on my DNA, or I always go back and try to do it myself.
So let's try to drill down a little bit. So I hear you say that you want to build a business. I also hear you say you can't get out of the field. So which is it?
I want to get out of the field.
How bad do you want it?
I really want to get off the ladder and build my business.
Yeah. Okay. Do you not trust your painters to provide a great experience?
I do. Yes, I do. They're a very good crew.
Yeah. Do you not enjoy networking with people and getting to know people?
I not the best at it, but I'm working my way in to be better at it. Okay. I'm a kind of quiet guy. You guys notice that. I don't talk too much. So that's one of my struggles too. Okay,
I have 2 points for the quiet guy. And I don't know if you guys saw this, Todd Smith, I shared him with you, a mentor of mine, author there, Little Things Matter. He's finally going public now, and I'm excited about it. I'm like, yes, Todd, right? Because he's been a private guy up until this time, building all his businesses. But he shares the benefits of the introvert. And while sometimes it might not seem like it, I'm a full-blown introvert too. So there's 2 things you do. One is just add coffee. You're like, Steve, you don't sound like an introvert right now. I add coffee to turn it on. So second, as an introvert, your strength, your superpower is that you're a great listener. Extroverts aren't great listeners. God bless you guys. Okay. We all have strengths and weaknesses, but introverts are great listeners and ask great questions. So it's not about talking. The key to winning, to crushing it in networking, is to listen and to ask great questions. That's how you win people over. That's how winning is done.
Great.
Hey Juan, how are your finances good for you to just step out, just do it? Are your finances good?
Yeah, half the way there. I'm not really where I want to be.
Yeah. Not to say that you have to be there to step out,
Mhm.
but I'm just saying it makes it easier because my finances are good. So I let my guys do jobs that take twice as long as I would have, just so I could focus on getting the next job and making it up then. I'm not buying bigger vehicles. I was talking to Steve. My wife wants me to buy a new truck just because I haven't bought one in a while. I have a 2017 Silverado that's really sweet looking. I don't need a new truck. I don't need to impress anybody. You know what? I'm going to
Mhm.
keep my guys going and I want to network. And so I'm on a good path for that.
He
But my
wants to go GP.
finances make it easy for me to do that.
How many painters do you have currently?
3 right now.
Okay. Yeah. So generally, the math works out benchmark. It's not the same for everybody, but it's usually 3 to 4, depending on the size of your family and if you're driving an Escalade or an older truck. So kind of use those extreme exaggerations. It's usually about 3 to 4 painters that can afford you to step out of the field so that you can focus full time. And now when you step out, you're not going to make a bunch of money because you're sacrificing some of the profit for your freedom. But you need that freedom to scale up. So then once you get to 4, you need to get to 6, and then the profits start rolling in again. But once you get out of the field at 3, 4 guys and you focus full time on networking and sales, you can generate 50% more business, and then hire 2 more guys and get you up to that 6 and start cranking out profits again.
But when you say you're stepping out, are you guys not going to the field at all? Shaking jobs? Nothing.
Juan, get this. You burn your whites.
Okay.
I want to see a video of that. Yeah.
I need to burn mine.
Yes. Let's have a burning party.
Hey, Juan, real quick, because I know we're out of time, but I've been reading a book, Buy Back Your Time. I can't remember the
Yeah,
author
you
on
mentioned
it.
that.
Yeah, I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. It's really good. It helps you focus on what really matters.
All right, I'm gonna start reading that today.
It's very good.
Okay.
Right on.
We'll
My
see how
police
doing
chief
it
is
tonight.
actually going to read that.
I'm gonna give you an update in the next meeting, see how I did.
You're an
Cool.
implementing machine, so I trust that. Way to
Yeah.
be, Juan. All right, moving along. Hey, Seuss, what's up?
Hey, Steve. I've been thinking here. I don't have much right now, but maybe.
Well, we just talked, what, yesterday?
Yeah, that was it, really.
Solved all his problems. It's all done.
I do have a tough story here. I did lose on a project by not pre-qualifying correctly, and I learned my lesson on that. So when you're desperate, don't just get any job, and that's what happened to me there. So I lost, and I learned, and I
Good.
did for a job away about 2 days ago about popcorn removal. I know I
Mhm.
barely do those, so I just referred them away to another painter I know from networking. So just refer
Mm.
the rest and stick to your 3 Ps.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And just a fun fact, you guys, Jesus is hitting the gym, so look out.
Yeah.
Hey.
So so he and Isaac can start sharing other workouts as well. Yes. All right. So Florian, you're up.
I have a my BNI group. I have a social media. She advertises every week, and she's talking about how you guys can advertise and this and that. So I'm gonna meet with her this Friday, 10 o'clock in the morning. So the question is like, I heard I'm watching a lot of videos how to advertise and this and that, but they're talking about 3 to 5% of your income, business income, has to go on advertising. Some they say 10% either. So I see that people advertising angel list, which forget about. I'm not going to go there. But I mean, so when I meet with her, I have to have conversation with her and write like a couple questions, probably how to advertise. She has a couple packages. So any advice from you guys, what to think about? What is pretty much like 3%, 5% question I have to ask. So make myself more clear.
I'm so glad you brought this question. First 10% is old school. That's traditional media budgets, radio, TV, stuff that people thought worked in the 80s. In fact, I forget who said that 50% of our marketing works. We just don't know which 50. Okay. Now, as far as what is a proper benchmark, if you follow the DYB system, 3% is plenty.
Okay.
You go beyond that, you're going to bump up to 5. I don't recommend advertising, right? You don't need it. unless it's an ABA. Instead, follow the system, right? Make sure you crush in step 5. Always be connecting, right? ABCs of sales, always be connecting, networking, chamber, BNI, Rotary. Develop relationships. It's a little slower build, but once that flywheel gets going, baby, right? Then you leverage it with ABAs and it just multiplies. It's crazy, right? I did that webinar for Tanner and I went over a bunch of those and I shared those. And so I've got that video. It's on YouTube and I think we published the podcast as well.
Yeah.
Review that. If you guys need it, like ping me in the chat and I'll find it for you, but please watch it again because I shared like many of the highlights. And if you look, I didn't spend much at all on advertising. My advertising expense was my BNI registration, chamber registration, Rotary registration, and gourmet cookies. That was really the majority of our advertising expense. And we were probably at 2.5% and just crushed it. Oh, and send out cards for staying top of mind. Do not recommend advertising. It's too hard to track. It's very difficult to track, especially for small businesses where we don't need it. Don't need it. Just network. Build that flywheel of endless referrals.
Okay. Thank you, Steve.
You're welcome. Craig, you're up.
I did my first, still in process actually. I did my first cabinet painting for a walk-in closet, and it took quite a bit more time than I thought, but it's turning out well. I used the Sherwin-Williams, the gallery paint, and that stuff is freaking awesome. It like really levels nice. It really looks nice. The only thing is I don't know whether I want to still pursue cabinet painting. It seems to be such a different process than just regular house painting, and I'm not sure if it's how. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it myself. If I can teach it, I'll keep on going. The only thing is have no shop space, so I have to spray on site, and I need to be able to teach it to somebody else. Given those two factors, I got a lot of people asking for it, but I'm not sure if it's something that I want to pursue.
Unpopular opinion. We didn't do it. We decided, well, we can turn over exterior single residentials much faster than we can a cabinet job. And we're turning nice profits on just repainting, simple repaint, interior, exterior repaint. So I like the process better rather than doing cabinets. Now, having said that, there are a lot of people who do well on cabinets, but you're right, it's involved. It's involved. And so you just have to decide, is this something I want to develop? Can you maybe train up a crew who focus specifically on cabinets? The guys who do well on this, they have crews who specialize in just cabinets. They're not doing repaints, they're doing just cabinets. And then can you set up a system for it? We don't have a shop. Some pull around a trailer. They've created a trailer for a spray shop inside. Others haul them back to their place and do it in their garage and set up spray tents and whatever. And others go to the expense of going ahead and renting a shop for $1,500 a month. And then you got to do the math on, okay, how not only is the process involved, but how many cabinets do we need to turn out? Okay, it's not 2 guys. Now we need 4, maybe 6 guys to make the shop profitable, right? To make the whole process profitable. So it can go both ways. It just depends on what you want to do. It sounds like you're not feeling it. If you're not feeling it, don't do it. It's not, yeah, the opportunity is there. You got a bunch of customers, you could generate a bunch more work, but is the process worth it? And do you have enough work doing what you're crushing currently?
Yeah. The thing is, I can see myself like just a closet was big enough. I can see like a full kitchen, like trying to stage that in a customer's home. It would just be a nightmare. It's enough. It was enough of a hassle doing a closet in an unoccupied house.
Yeah.
To even think about doing a kitchen, like a full kitchen in a house that humans were living in.
Yeah, the liability increases dramatically. And so you're hearing me, it's like, Steve, shoot down cabinets. It's just not for me. I like simple process. I like to simplify. I want to provide a remarkable experience, make a bunch of money, and have freedom and time and simplify and hopefully sleep well at night, which is tough for an entrepreneur. Sleeping well at night, right? Because we're worried about everything. Oh, did the plastic, did the tape peel, did it release? Did the spray get under that plastic and I didn't see it and it's sitting there curing for the next couple days before we pull? These are things that we have to consider.
So
But-
another,
I can see it being a fairly straightforward process if you had a spray shop and just I can see how people can kick out a whole ton of them because it's almost like a factory assembly line when you have it set up correctly, but it's just the learning curve to get it to that point.
Yeah, you're willing to build out
is
the
a
process.
little bit of an uphill climb. Yeah.
If you do think about considering it, I'd recommend YouTubing the Idaho painter. And he has this hanger and pole system where basically it's these really sturdy metal hangers, drill pilot holes in the sides of the cabinet doors you can't see, hang them and spin them and spray them, and then this really solid hanging system. So and he has a lot of tips on what tips to use, how to spray them, how to prep them. And so if it's something you are on the fence on, maybe check out some of his videos and see if that's a process you'd like to tackle.
Yeah.
so the other thing you can do as I work in the past is like finding a cabinet guy who does cabinet, because the cabinet by itself is a quick process, especially on the side. So what I was doing in the past is I had the cabinet guys come and pick up all the doors. I marked the doors, but in order to keep my guys busy, I was masking, get ready, all the body and everything. So I share with him 50-50. So he has to pay materials and everything, but I was doing on the side, like closing the boxes, making ready. So he comes and sprays and goes. So this might be another profitable for you for that time if you want to keep your guys busy. And this easy process, because what you do, you just prep. You know what I mean? And he's gonna handle all the doors in the shop. And he comes on the side, he sprays, so everything is perfect. So that's another option if you want to do it. Because you don't want to have a shop, right? You don't have a shop. And maybe you don't want to have in the future, like Steve said, hey, stay away probably. But still you can get that milk out. Whatever you can keeps your guys busy, whatever you can get. That's my advice. That's what I was doing in the past.
Yeah, I did one job where I took off all the doors. One of my friends came, picked them up, sprayed them in his garage, and we like site painted the boxes, brush and roll. And that worked out, but they're just the profit wasn't there. So I'd have to charge more for that rather than just, I don't know, might be easier just to refer it entirely away.
Yeah, the thing is, like when I do the cabinet, especially body and everything, masking prep, for me is a quick process. I had a small kitchen, like $32, and like in 2 days I was out. 2 guys masking the first day, make it ready, get the doors out, prime, then the following day, go back and put 3 coats right away. So it's different because as you use to work, you get more, you go faster and faster, you know what I mean? But whatever comes the cabinet job, I don't let it go. I love it so, because I make a profit no matter what.
Yeah. Now, like we were talking with Daryl about the commercial, see if you can find a commercial business to refer to and work out a referral partnership. Same thing in the cabinets. Check around, see if you can find somebody who specializes in cabinets and see if you can work out a referral partnership. Because the cabinets are obviously, when they're in there, they're going to ask them, hey, do you paint the rest of the house? And they'll say, actually, we know somebody who specializes in that. We focus on cabinets, and they can send you a bunch of work as well in return.
It works.
Another referral source for you, helping you to focus on what you do, keeping that process simple and cash flow flowing. Alrighty, so it's time to roll out with takeaways. Sonia, lead the way. Ladies first.
Send out cards, Chamber, BNI, Rotary, ABA, gourmet cookies, just basically going back to finding where our ideal clients hang out. Tell me to death. We loved how they, so just basically keep on, like you mentioned, sales, networking and sales as the way to go. 3% DYB, endless referrals, just that, all that kind of was like all in the same. Yeah.
That's it.
Getting on
All
it.
the system. There you go.
Yes.
Right on. Thank you, Sonia. Daryl?
Yeah, I think just listen, everybody, just keeping our 3 Ps in mind all the time. Craig, I'm right there with you too. I'm stepping away from cabinets. I'll still do them, but I'm not really marketing them. It is profitable for me. I just don't care for doing them. 3 Ps is definitely what I'm going to make sure I keep in my focus on.
Yeah, indeed. Concrete floors are very popular in Florida, and I stayed away from them too.
Nope, don't touch those.
Yeah. Stated I'll just be a simple wall painter where the cash flow flows. Okay. Isaac, takeaways?
Yeah, quite a few, but I think my main takeaway and focus is just having that conversation with my guys probably after this next job, just to say, hey, you guys want to stay busy year round? And brought them on with that conversation in mind. So it's already there, but just leaning into that more. And all the books that you guys mentioned, I'm gonna put that.
Did you say you're gonna have them all read before next meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still working on the hiring one. I need to wake up earlier. 4:30 is not early enough.
There you go. As soon as you're out of the field, you're gonna have more time to get
Yes.
through them.
Yeah.
Right on. Very good. Thank you, Chris.
My biggest takeaway, I had a really bad day yesterday and wasn't feeling too hot today and didn't even want to come on here. And when I turned the screen on, everybody was smiling, everybody was happy. And I actually just really just appreciate that. The other notes I got here from Sonia, where do they associate? Where do they socialize? Where do they network? I love that. For an interior decorator or a consultant, get them at the chamber events, 100, 150 a person, no deep bases, 1 hour.
Yeah, right on. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing how that goes
Yeah.
and getting yours lined up. So very good. Thank you, Chris. We're glad you made it too. I'm glad to see your smile. All right. One.
The big thing, then simplify things. I'm gonna start simplify things and find out where my A clients are hanging out.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Very good. Thank you. Jesus.
Yeah, I would say simplify and keep the cash flow going.
Yes, sir. Love it. Thank you. Florin, take away.
Yeah, go back to the idea, read one more time. We know that already BNI following the groups, and so you can build a network, but advertising 3%. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Okay.
Steve.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Craig, no pressure. Close this out with your takeaways.
I think actually it's Zeus mentioned that he did send out cards for Valentine's Day, that I'm in need of doing a send out cards because I want the phone to start ringing a touch. That's a good way to do it. So I will have a send out cards done before the next mastermind.
Fantastic. Post a picture of whatever you picked or chose in the mastermind chat, please.
Yeah, I might be too late for Valentine's Day. So
yeah.
I'll have to
that's
pick
fine.
another
No,
holiday.
find a fun holiday. Just find a fun, silly holiday.
It's like a pirate day.
Yeah.
Arr, matey.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Craig, are you having April do them or are you doing them yourself? Because I'm thinking about wanting to implement that.
I use send out cards. It's a little expensive, but
Well, like it's a service that's called send out cards.
And you just upload your client database to it and they do everything. They address, post them, everything.
Works out to be about $250 a card, but they're Hallmark style cards.
Yeah, and once you upload the lists, a send out will take me maybe an hour tops to put together versus stuffing 400 envelopes, which takes more than an hour.
Ben Campbell just sent one out and we're on his list, so we get them. And he just said, I think it said, this is not a card. The front of it said, this is not a card. You open it up, it says it's a hug with a crease in it. We appreciate you. Have a nice
Oh, that's awesome.
So you got a bunch of text, calls, responses. Yeah. Wow.
Can you customize them to only go to certain parts of your client list?
All right, lady and gentlemen, it's time to roll out. But before we do, I want to encourage you to continue to dream big, hustle smarter. You've got this.
Have a good day, guys.
See you guys. Thanks for all the encouragement.
Bye.
Bye.